Hello again. Welcome to Painting with Papa number 7. In this video what I'm going to do is to paint a picture in my favourite medium, which is oil colour. My experience with oil colour goes back to when I was 12-year-old, which is 51 years ago. At that time we lived in a place called Batley in Yorkshire. Now Batley is only a small town, but it was famous for a few things, one of which was the fact that there was a Fox's biscuit factory there. The other thing was that it had a grammar school which was recognised as being excellent. It also had an art gallery and an art school, which was quite unusual for a town which was really quite small. Because there was an art school, there was obviously an art shop that sold materials, and that's where I went to get my oil paints when I was 12-year-old. Now, in order to buy my oil paints, I needed to save up my pocket money. So what I did, I saved my pocket money for 30 weeks and went along to the shop with my money in my pocket to buy oil paints and brushes and all the other bits and pieces that I would need. I explained to the shopkeeper what I'd done, the fact that I'd saved my money for 30 weeks, and he of course was very impressed by that. So he guided me as to what I should need in terms of tubes of colour and brushes and so on. However, when we totted up how much I was spending, it appeared that I didn't quite have enough to buy a palette that I would need to mix the paints on. The shopkeeper very kindly said, well, since you've been so good, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a palette. So I hurried home with all my paints and my brushes and so on, and explained to my parents how the shopkeeper had given me this palette. Now, I don't have those paints anymore, and I don't have that palette, but what I do have is a palette here, which you can see, which dates back to the early 1970s. This palette is made from solid mahogany. You can't get palettes from solid mahogany anymore. Most of the palettes that you buy these days that are wood are made from plywood, and plywood which is not mahogany but some other type of material like beech or so on. But this one is actually solid mahogany. I don't use it though, because I don't want to deteriorate it any more than it actually is. It's got a few dings and a few scratches on it, but I want to keep it just as good as it is for as long as I can. The actual palette that I use is this one, which is actually quite huge. Being huge, it has the benefit that you can mix a lot of different colours and you don't have to keep cleaning it. You can use it for a whole painting session before you have to clean it up. Now you can probably see that I haven't cleaned it perfectly. There's actually no need to clean it until it's back to original wood, because you're going to put more paint on it anyway, and so it's not going to have any effect. The good thing is that by constant using this palette, the surface has become smooth like glass. Now that benefits in a couple of ways. First of all, it means that I can mix the paint and it's not dragging on the palette, but perhaps more important, a smooth palette, a smooth surface, does not wear the brushes as much as a rough surface palette would. And of course, we want to keep our brushes as long as we possibly can, because they ain't cheap. Here are the brushes that I'll be using for this picture. As you can see, I have got quite a few, and as I've said before, they come in different shapes and different sizes. So I have round brushes, I have flat brushes, and I have flat brushes which have got a rounded end, which as I explained to you, I call filbert. I've also got them in different materials. Some of them are traditional bristle hair brushes, but many of them are made from artificial hair. Some of which is quite a soft hair, and some which is quite firm and springy. And it depends upon exactly which part of the picture I'm working on as to which brush I'm going to choose. Some would say that this is cheating, but actually many artists in the past have used these devices or similar to make the composition of their paintings a lot easier. What it is a video projector, and I can connect my iPad to it and project pictures from my iPad onto my canvas, making life a lot easier for me. Now, as you can see, I've got everything set up ready to start painting. I've got my palette set up onto my stool, so that's to hand. I've got my brushes at the bottom there, they're close to hand, and I've got my canvas on my easel. The easel that I'm using is my studio one, which in fact was a 21st birthday present from my grandmother. So that's what, 52 years old. I can also see that hanging from the bottom of the easel is a pot. Now that pot is actually for washing the brushes, and it's got turpentine in. I thought that rather than show you the stages of the painting in this video, I would show you some pictures which I've done before. The first one is a picture by Picasso, and it was the first picture that I actually copied when I got those paints at the age of 12. The next picture is one that I painted after we visited France. It was the first time that we went on holiday with the children abroad. And this picture shows a market scene in a town nearby to where we were staying. When I was sixth form coordinator, the head of art at Breckfield himself used to take sixth form students down to Albert Dock to sketch and to paint. We painted and sketched ourselves whilst we were there, and I took photographs as well. And this is one of the pictures that I painted from those visits to Albert Dock in Liverpool. I produced these two pictures to hang together in our lounge when we first arrived in Spain. This is the view from the back of our house, looking towards the Villa Andrea and to the mountains beyond. Another picture of the area where we live, the Vega Baca. This is the mountain that we can see from our roof and the mountains that lie beyond it. The final picture that I want to show you is this one. When we visited Rome, we went to see the normal sites like the Colosseum, Spanish Steps and so on. But instead of painting those, I chose to paint this picture of the flower market with the beautiful fresh flowers that were on sale that particular day. I'll leave you with another picture from our French holidays, which hopefully you can see has my family in it.